Hello, I'm Dr. Elena Ibe. I'm a family doctor, and I'm so happy to be here this morning to talk to the Newell Elementary students. And I know these are strange times, and in fact, I'm working out of home. I have a computer here where I see my patients on the computer and, try to treat them without seeing them in the clinic. So that part of it is kind of similar to what you are experiencing now with having your lessons done through the computer as well and not being able to go to school. So I wanted to talk to you today about the coronavirus or COVID-19, and you probably have heard of this because it's been in the news and maybe your parents are talking about it, and maybe your teachers have even spoken to you about this as well. And I'm not sure whether or not what you know about it, and so we'll kind of just touch on the basic things about coronavirus. And so as the name says, it is a virus, and a virus is like a germ. You know how you get colds in the wintertime or even in the summertime when you get a runny nose and you get a sore throat or a fever or cough? Well, that's caused by a virus. And so viruses are particles, and I tried to look for something in our house that would look like a virus. But if you imagine this to be the virus particle is inside this coating. So there's a coating on the outside of it, and there are little tentacles or little things that attach to the lining of your nose or your mouth or your eyes or your stomach that then causes the virus to multiply and make you sick. So for colds, it usually sticks in your nose, and that's why you get a runny nose. For the coronavirus, it sticks in the lungs, and it causes a lot of inflammation or swelling in there, which then results in breathing difficulties for people, and they get very, very sick. So the important thing that I would like to talk to you about today is how do you prevent yourself from catching the virus? Well, the very first thing that the government did was to stop school, because we know that the virus is spread by respiratory droplets. That means your saliva or stuff that comes out of your nose. And we all like to touch each other, so when you have the virus in your fingers and you touch somebody and they touch their eyes or their nose, then they can then get the virus. So one very important thing that you have to do now more than ever is to wash your hands. And washing your hands is not just like putting your hand under the tap and then calling it done. You have to wash your hands with soap and water. So you turn the tap on, you get your hands wet, get some soap, and then you lather it for about 20 seconds. 20 seconds is kind of difficult to think of when you're washing your hands because you don't usually have a watch or a stopwatch or a timer right beside you when you're washing your hands. But there are ways that you can kind of get around that. You can sing happy birthday to you twice while you're washing your hands, and that usually is about 20 seconds. Or you can sing row, row, row your boat, and that's usually 20 seconds. Or twinkle, twinkle, little star twice again, and that's usually 20 seconds. You can even create your own song, or you can choose a song that you like to listen to because it gets boring after a while, right? And so when do you wash your hands? Well, you wash your hands before you eat, after you go to the bathroom. Those things that we used to do all the time. Like if you're preparing food, then you want to make sure that you wash your hands well as well while you're doing that. But nowadays we ask you to wash your hands as well when you come in from outside. So when you go to the store or when you touch things outside, we want you to wash your hands because we're not sure whether you have the virus in your hands. So if you have the virus in your hands and you didn't wash your hands and you touched your eyes or you touched your nose or you touched your mouth, then the virus can get inside of you. So the other important thing is to avoid touching your face, touching your eyes or your nose or your mouth. And it's very, very hard to do. I tried it, and I know that, I'm very guilty of wanting to scratch my forehead or scratch my eye. But just try to think about it really hard before you touch your face. And if you do, then wash your hands so that you don't spread whatever is in you to the other people. So when you cough or you sneeze, always remember to cough, in your elbow and not in your hands. And that way there's less chance of the virus being in your hands when you're touching things around the house. The other thing that we talk about is social distancing, which is really more physical distancing. It's not like we don't want you to talk to anybody. When you talk, you just need to keep yourself 6 feet apart from the other person. Now that's kind of hard to remember as well. But in adults, when we stretch our hands, that's usually about 6 feet long, right? Or 3 feet long. And then if the other person is also stretched their hands, then that's another 3 feet. So if you just remember to at least stand away from each other with your hands outstretched, then that's about 6 feet. I guess if you're smaller, then you might need more distance than with the outstretched arms. So those are the main things that I wanted to talk to you today about, trying to keep the virus away from you. And there are other things that you can kind of do as well by trying to stay healthy. That means eating right, exercising, sleeping well, and focusing on the good things about the things that are happening in your life rather than all the things that you can't do. And maybe we'll talk about that another time. Okay? So have a great day. I hope everybody stays well and stays safe. Thank you.